Support for Central Florida Public Media comes from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University's worldwide campus, where students can launch or accelerate careers in aerospace, business, engineering, or applied science. More at erau.edu/ww.
I'm Sharon Stone. This is Engage. Some schools are adding vape sensors in bathrooms to stop youth from doing it. Brevard County Public Schools say the sensors will be tested first, and if the pilot is successful, expanded from high schools and rolled out district-wide. The technology isn't only showing up on our Space Coast. Lake County School Board approved buying the devices for a high school pilot program for 2025. And you'll hear from the company putting the sensors in Osceola County schools later in today's show. But we need to start with what vaping actually looks like from the perspective of teenagers. I talked to two high schoolers in Central Florida Public Schools. Lucas is a 15-year-old sophomore in Orange County. I asked him whether having sensors in bathrooms that detect vape and alert administrators is an effective deterrent.
I think the intent is good, and it definitely shows that they want to work towards this problem, but it's not really going to solve the problem outright, because the thing is with the kids, they're just going to kind of find a way to ignore it and move around it, and maybe, I don't know, just go somewhere else instead of the bathrooms.
Are bathrooms a common place for students to go vape?
Probably the most common. So it's going to help a little bit, because it's discouraging when you can't just go to the bathroom. The point is that they'll find another place, another time to go out.
What makes students want to vape in the first place? What's the appeal?
Well, a lot of kids nowadays really, I think it's kind of fun to go with your friends, right? It's a little bit of a social pressure. And it's not that peer pressure is gone nowadays. It's definitely still a relevant factor. And it's kind of hard to spot peer pressure now, because it'll be your friends telling you, no, you don't have to do it. And it makes you want to go more and believe that this is your own decision. But I think for most kids, it's just kind of fun doing something that you shouldn't be doing.
Have you ever felt pressured to try vaping yourself?
I think definitely in some circumstances and situations I've been in.
Have you ever tried?
I have tried a vape before, and it's not because I was entirely pressured to.
How old were you when you first tried it?
This year, 15.
How did that even enter your world? Was it school or was it a social thing?
It was not entirely at school. It was people that you meet at school who become your closer friends that you know for most of your life. But I think it just kind of appears as a choice for a lot of people my age, because it's really easy to access.
Really?
It's pretty easy to access. You just have to really try.
Do you have any ideas for what might be a more effective way of cutting down on it?
I think the way that they tackle it in school and the way that the school board handles these kind of things might not be the best, because usually these decisions are made by the board of education of the local counties, and they tend to be pretty old, actually. Like, very old. They don't know what's, exactly happening with the young people. And I think that maybe including some younger people, instead of trying to assume what high schoolers are thinking and actually trying to understand what they want to think, would be a better position. My solution would just be educating these kids on what this could do to you later in your life, how you could not get addicted and hooked onto nicotine, because this is what the big issue is for kids. And also how to recognize what real peer pressure is now, because it's a lot different than what you've been taught. It's not someone trying to come up to you, force something in you. It's a lot different nowadays.
Where do you learn about the negative things that come with vaping?
Definitely something I've heard from my friends more than the school. And it's a lot of the stuff that you see online and in media. It tells you, like, I can still remember ads from when I was, I don't know, like 5 years younger than I am right now. It tells you nicotine is an addictive substance, and you don't really care for that much at the time, right? Like, I'm 10 years old. It doesn't matter for me. But as long as it sticks in your brain, and if you hear it from like someone your age, like a peer, then it also makes you kind of understand that they know this is an addictive substance. How should I treat this myself?
Now let's hear from Sophia. The 16-year-old is in the 11th grade at an Orange County high school. So it is not hard at all to find a student vaping.
No, I think you could find one in any class if you wanted to.
Any thoughts on why it's so prevalent? Why are students vaping?
I think it could be something close to stress and like it it's just something that you do to take your mind off of it, even if it isn't like the healthiest way. And if you find friends who vape, I feel like it's kind of easy to fall into that hole if you're around certain people.
How easy is it to get it? Where are these students getting these vapes?
I honestly could not say. I have no clue myself. I just know like I walk into a bathroom and you can kind of smell it.
Are bathrooms a common place for students to go vape?
I would say, yeah, it's the most common because there's no teachers in there and it's between classes and you can kind of just do that stuff.
So Brevard is adding vape detectors to some high school bathrooms. Those are ceiling-mounted sensors, and it alerts administrators when they detect vapor. What's your reaction? Do you think that would be a deterrent?
Yeah, I think it would definitely stop people. I'm sure there's some people that just wouldn't mind at all and would continue to do so, but I'm sure it would lessen the percentage a lot.
Do you think there's anything that adults might be misunderstanding about how students view vaping?
I think students don't really understand like the consequences of what they're doing and it's kind of just like a background thought and they just continue to vape because it's just something that it gives them something to do and I feel like once you're in it it's kind of hard to get out is what I've heard and it's just I think maybe if adults would focus on maybe more so trying to help people like get out of the place that they're in. Because I think if you lessen the amount of people that do it, it lessens the amount of people who want to do it if they haven't already. Because I feel like it's kind of a popularity thing. If you don't see anyone doing it, students might not want to do it as much.
Have you ever felt pressured to try vaping yourself?
Yes.
Have you?
No, I have not. I did not, but my friends who were with me, they did, but I didn't feel much of a urge for that.
What made you say no?
I think I knew, like, it's just a scary possibility, like, if I were to like it, would I continue to do it? And I just didn't feel much of a need for it. And yeah, I was like, "Oh, like, cool, like, it has a flavor and stuff." But I was just like, I could find that elsewhere. I don't need to vape for that.
That was Lucas and Sophia, two Central Florida high schoolers sharing their thoughts on vaping among their peers. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration's National Youth Tobacco Survey, published in June, shows that last year, 7% of high school students reported they're currently using e-cigarettes, meaning they vaped in the previous 30 days. Of that 7%, about 1 in 4 said it's a daily habit. For parents, the biggest concern might be about what's actually happening inside of a teenager's body when they vape. Dr. Jonathan Schroeder is a pulmonologist and part of the Advent Health Heart, Lung, and Vascular Institute. I asked him what advice he gives his patients and what parents should know if they find out their kids are vaping.
I'm a parent as well, so these are things that are crossing my mind. What I tell my patients that they inform me that they're vaping, I will say it's going to increase the risk of Usually when they come to see me, I'm a lung doctor, so typically they have some sort of underlying lung complaint. But whatever they're having issues with, chances are that's going to get worse with the vaping, whether it's coughing, shortness of breath, exacerbation of asthma, things of that nature. That's going to get worse with the vaping. I tried to drive it home to the patient of how this behavior is affecting their health. I do touch on long-term effects, and then unfortunately the habit that can predispose people falling back into utilizing cigarettes or other things very easily.
I'm not sure that everyone fully understands exactly what vaping is. So my question is, what are you actually inhaling? What's it doing to you?
The way vaping works is it's a liquid consisting of various chemicals that provide some flavoring. Sometimes it includes nicotine as well. And that liquid is usually in the form of a cartridge. And they put it in this device. And the device lets out a drop of that liquid and it heats it up instantaneously and creates a vapor. And that's where the term vaping is coming from. So it's essentially this very superheated liquid that instantly becomes vapor that you inhale. And as opposed to smoking, which is the burning of some form of matter, whether it's tobacco or whatever else that creates the smoke.
What is it in what is being inhaled that concerns you medically?
That liquid, when it gets heated, it can create a lot of different chemicals or hydrocarbons that are then inhaled. So similar to the manufacture of gasoline. Gasoline is crude oil. Heat it and it fractionates into various different chemicals. The same thing with vaping. You don't always know exactly what you're going to inhale. And that is my primary concern.
Can you talk about the effects that you see of vaping on someone's lungs? And I'm also curious, is it different based on your age?
I think the primary concern when patients are younger is what effect does it have on them developing? The lungs continue to develop into the 20s. So if I'm seeing someone in clinic who's, still in their teens or late teens, my concern is how is that going to affect them long term? And I don't have definitive answers on that yet. We suspect that it will have some effect similar to what smoking does. Right now, the concern is that patients who are vaping, we do know they will have an increased risk of developing things like bronchitis or symptoms of coughing and shortness of breath, as opposed to people who don't vape. So that much we can say. Particularly in patients who have underlying lung disease such as asthma, anything that you inhale, particularly including vaping, can lead to exacerbations of asthma. So these are the things that concern me when I see patients, young patients who are vaping.
Dr. Jonathan Schroeder is part of the Advent Health Heart, Lung, and Vascular Institute. Advent Health is a sponsor of Central Florida Public Media, but our coverage remains independent. Now, remember those vape detectors that I mentioned are being installed in some Central Florida schools? To understand how they work, we turn to Jamie Lopez, a former teacher now working as Director of Sales at Triton Sensors. The company is working with the Osceola County School District.
What it does is it's going to be monitoring different readings of the air in a private area. Usually schools are going to put these in like bathrooms or locker rooms. And essentially, if it detects any sort of change in the air, whether that be like a cleaning product, a perfume, a vape, anything like that, it's going to be able to determine what kind of aerosol is in the air and alert on it.
When you say alert, does it literally go off like a smoke detector, or does it alert in that it tells administrators what's going on?
They can actually have that go either way, whatever the school prefers, honestly. So it could have like an audible alarm go off in there to be used as like a deterrent inside the space, or it can send alerts like an email or a text message or some sort of notification to administrators or security staff.
Jamie Lopez is Director of Sales at Triton Sensors. Engage is a production of Central Florida Public Media. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Richard Copeland is our senior producer. I'm Sharon Stone. You can reach us anytime with questions, comments, or story ideas. Send an email to engage@cfpublic.org. Thanks for listening.